it really freed up my mind because I was able to be at peace even when I was in war. Welcome to the Third Quarter Podcast. I'm your host, Ace, and I am blessed by the best, but better than that, so are you. And you are not here by accident, my friend. Nope, you are not here by accident. You are here on purpose and for purpose because this is the third quarter. This is the time where we take what the first half gave us, we take what we need, and we leave the rest because we're not living in the past, and we're attacking this quarter. And we are reclaiming our life so we can live with more peace, with more fulfillment, and more joy. And today's episode, because the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And this episode, I'm going to give you 3 things that you can start doing today to improve your mental health. All right. But before we get into that, if you haven't done so yet, leave us a review because I'm going to be starting reading reviews on the show now, and because I really want to show you guys how much we love you, I love you, and we appreciate all your kind words and rating us 5 stars. So if you haven't done so yet, please leave us a review because it could be read on the show. And also, if you haven't rated us 5 stars, please do so because we are now a podcast that is being shown to other people's feeds. We in the algorithm, y'all. We broke the internet, okay? So now our podcast is being shown to people that listen to episodes of other podcasts that are like us, and we're being in people's feeds. So the more that you rate us, the more that you share us, the more that we're going to be seen to people that need us. So this is a community effort, and I want to thank you for being a part of this community. Now, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and this is a big deal. And, mental health has been a huge topic for the last handful of years, as it should be. I wish I would have known about mental health growing up because I did feel like, in some type of way, I feel like we all have had mental health struggles at some point. And I dealt with anxiety and depression. And, I've shared with this, in the past that, I was a worrier. I was someone that worried a lot. And I was always, my mind was either too far in the future or too much in the past. And I was kind of like playing tug of war in my present. And so I could never really enjoy being a kid fully because I was always living in a place of concern, and it just wasn't good. And when you live that way and you suppress your feelings and you don't really know how to express and have outlets, and you kind of just hold everything in to the point where you just explode and you have panic attacks like me on a subway train in New York City. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel like you're about to have a heart attack and die, and no one's going to care because it's New York and they trying to get somewhere. So I don't want that to happen to you. And it's important to really take care of your mental health and to do the things that's necessary for you to have more joy, to have peace, but also to know that you're not alone and you're not somebody that's just on this island by yourself and no one cares, because people care. But it's hard for people to care if they don't know what's going on, right? So in this episode, I'm going to give you 3 things that you can implement today that can really help your mental health. Now, I want to preface this by saying I'm not saying that this is a cure. I'm not saying that, oh my goodness, you're never going to have these issues ever again. I'm going to give you 3 things that I used that really got me out of my funk, that I use to this day, that really helps my mental health. It helps me get rid of clutter. It helps me, get rid of those toxic thoughts. And it helps me just really be present, because I think one of the biggest issues when it comes to mental health is that it robs us of our presence. It robs us of our today. It robs us of our right now. It takes us out of the things that we're doing or that we should be doing, and it has us thinking about what possibly could happen tomorrow and what didn't happen yesterday. And so, we only have enough energy and focus for today, right? It's for today. And you don't want to use your mental energy for stuff that was yesterday and for stuff that may or may not happen tomorrow. So mental health is really, to me, how I view it in my personal life. It's really about how do you start to get rid of clutter, and how do you get yourself in a position where you can be more present and mindful in your today. And I'm going to give you 3 things that I use that I believe could really serve you if you were to use this on a daily basis. And let's get straight into it. The first thing is get outside. Get outside. Especially if you're in a location where you got really good weather. If you're like in California, you're in Florida, you're in the South. Even now, it's the spring transition to the summer. So everywhere the weather is nice. Get outside. Get some of that vitamin D. Okay? Vitamin D scientifically really helps with your mood. Okay? It really helps with your mood, and it really helps regulate your immune system. It helps regulate your brain function, and also getting outside. And I also will recommend this, not just being outside, but if you can leave your device at home, like leave the world at home, leave social media at home, leave your family at home, leave the kids at home, like just go outside by yourself and be with nature and be with God and listen to the noises and hear the birds and hear the cars and hear the waves, hear people, wave at people, smile at people. Be present in your walk. Get outside. Set aside 15 minutes minimum and just go. Just go for a walk. And just make it your intention to be as present as you possibly can. And also, if thoughts and things come to mind, let them come. Use yourself being outside to let these feelings and emotions filter through while you're getting the sun, while you're getting the air, while you're being removed from social media and being removed from the world. You can be present. It's okay to have thoughts come into your mind, right? But sometimes we got to let things just like filter out and just let it go and stop trying to stop them. Sometimes you just got to let these thoughts detox. Sometimes you got to let these feelings detox. And one of the best ways that worked for me is to go outside. I go for a walk every day. And if I'm not going for a walk every day, I'm playing basketball outside. I'm doing something outside every single day. So whether you go for a walk, you playing pickleball, you playing tennis, you shooting hoops, you doing something, go outside. The sun is your friend. Put on some sunscreen. Okay? And I don't want you to get cooked up and burnt up. But get some sun, get some fresh air. Get some of that air. Breathe. Get some of that fresh air. All right? So getting outside, getting some sun, getting some movement outside, playing basketball, going for a walk, going for a jog, whatever. But I highly recommend that you do that with no music. Because sometimes, even though the music is innocent and we love music, we love listening to podcasts, I'm even telling you, don't even listen to me. But there's something about just you being present in what God created does something for your mind that nothing else can really do. Okay? So the first thing is I suggest is to go outside at least 15 minutes a day, whether that's in the morning, if it's in the evening, if it's on your lunch break, find time to get outside. Okay? The second thing I would recommend is to make sure that you are getting some type of physical activity every single day. Now, I know I just said go for a walk. Okay? I want to pair that with fitness, working out, movement meditation, as I like to call it now, does so much for your mind. It's crazy. There have been plenty of times when I've gone to the gym with a lot on my mind, or I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling down and I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to do it. But when I leave that gym, when those endorphins are loose and I'm channeling that energy into my body and I'm moving weight and I'm sweating and I'm physically exerting myself, I feel so damn good when I'm done. That feeling of when you hit your last rep or when the class ends, that feeling when you walk out the door and you're walking to your car Man, if they can bottle that feeling up and sell that joint at Trader Joe's, call it the post-workout glow juice, man, you cannot duplicate that with anything else. That is something that only physical fitness can do. So incorporating physical activity as much as possible is really, really going to help your mental health. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of my ideas for content, podcasts, social media, business, if I have to have a conversation with someone, a lot of my ideas and thought processes kind of play themselves out in the gym as well, or when I'm working out, because sometimes when you want something to work and you're trying to figure something out, you're forcing it. You're not allowing ideas to flow through your mind because you're trying to make it happen. When you go into a place like the gym, or you're doing yoga, or you're taking a class, or you're playing some type of competitive sport, you're in the moment of what you're doing, that now you're not stressing on the idea. It can now freely flow. And so a lot of breakthroughs that I've had in my life happened when I was working out, because now I gave my mind permission to freely flow and not me trying to force the action. So getting some type of physical activity, I know I said a 15-minute walk minimum, or get outside, but man, you have got to push your body. Push. And I'm not talking about, just going for a workout just to check. I'm talking like really push yourself. Like lift weights. If you're taking yoga, hold that pose longer than usual. If you're playing pickleball, go all out. If you're playing basketball, go all out. If you're doing something, go all out. Really push yourself physically. It's important to test your body. It's important to use your body and to max it out. I'm not saying every workout needs to go to failure, but man, if you need to, your body responds, and this is going to sound counterintuitive, but you want to put your body under stress. You want to allow your body to be under self-induced physical stress, because now you're forcing the body to adapt. You're forcing the body to change. The body's not going to change if you're doing the same workout with the same weights, the same tempo, the same pace. It's not going to change. You have to force your body and push yourself to make the body want to do something different. And when you do that, the energy that it takes, the force that it takes, the movement, the sweat, the muscle, the connection, the contractions, when all those things pair together, man, it does so much for your mind, especially when you're seeing progress, and when you're cutting your mile time shorter, you're lifting more on the bench, you're squatting more, your endurance is going up, you're holding poses longer. When you're allowing your body to go to the limit and you're not stopping because you're uncomfortable, when you allow yourself to get comfortable in the discomfort, that is a mental breakthrough. Because sometimes our mental health, I'm not saying all of it, but I'll speak for me personally, some of my mental health struggles were due to aspects of my life that I was stopping just short of breakthrough. I wasn't fully allowing myself to get on the other side of comfort. And there's no better representation of life than physical fitness. And when you push yourself to the limit that you can do, right? Because we're all on different levels. So I'm not saying if you haven't gone to the gym in a while to put 225 on the squat. I'm saying relative to where you are fitness-wise, get outside of your comfort zone more times than not. So if you're only going for walks and you're only doing 15 minutes, go for a 30-minute walk. Do a 20-minute walk jog. If you're like, man, you're a little bit, you're in your 60s, you're in your 70s, you're in your 80s, like whatever, like there's no limits. Like I see people on Instagram that are in their 70s and look better than me. They're shredded to the bone, right? Like don't use age as a limitation. Don't use, what weight you are as a limitation. Be honest with where you're at, but still allow yourself to get uncomfortable in that space. Ace, all I can do is 1 push-up and 2 squats. Okay, we'll do 2 push-ups and 3 squats. Start small. But the reason why I'm saying that is it does wonders for your mental health when you are exerting yourself physically, right? Because oftentimes when you're stressing or you're living in anxiety, you're tense and your body's tense. And so when you're allowing yourself to push through physically, you're opening up and freeing that tension and that nervous system in your body, and like you're shedding it. You're shedding it. And it's funny, it's like if you ever watch Steph Curry play basketball, okay? Every time he shoots a free throw, just watch him. I know he's not playing right now, but go on YouTube and watch Steph Curry free throws. Before he shoots every free throw, whether it's the first free throw or the 10th free throw of the game, he always shakes his right arm, which is his shooting arm. He always shakes it before he gets into his routine. The reason why he does that is he doesn't want his arm to be tense. You're going to play, you're going to the basket, you're getting fouled, there's a lot of anxious energy, a lot of aggression, but when you come to the free throw line, you got to be relaxed. So him shaking his arm is him releasing the tension of his shooting arm so he can be comfortable and be free in his shot. When we're living in anxiety or, our mental health is kind of all over the place, oftentimes we get really tense. At least I did. I got really tense. And so exerting yourself physically allows you to break that tension internally so you can have more freedom and flow in your body, but also you get rid of some of that nervous energy. Okay. So the second thing is to make sure you prioritize physical fitness, non-negotiable. Okay. The third thing is I need you to, and this is the last point, I need you to really tap into the creative side of your brain. When I was living in anxiety and mental health was really an issue for me, and maybe you can relate to this too, you tend to really be on the left side of your brain. You're analytical, you're thinking a lot, you're in your thoughts, right? You're trying to problem solve a lot. You're reading a lot of books and you're doing a lot of things because you're trying to think your way through. But I want to remind you that God is a creator. And if we're made in his image, that means we're supposed to create. We are the most like God when we are in a creative space. And I'm going to say this too. Some people may not agree. That's okay. This is my opinion. I believe there is a part of people's mental health that is connected to their spiritual well-being. For me, a lot of my mental health issues was due to my spiritual immaturity. And once I really prioritized growing spiritually, reading my Bible, praying, being around people that can pray for me and speak life into me and really tapping to the spiritual side of things, because mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, we're going to be at war. But how awesome is it to be fighting while at peace? Think about how much stronger and more impactful you would be when you're in a battle, but you're peaceful, man. Like you're not stressing. Yeah, I know starting this business is going to be tough. Yeah, I know this relationship, we got some hurdles. Man, I'm in so much peace that I know we're going to be good. When you get in that space, man, you are going to be, your mental health is going to improve dramatically. But I really do believe we spend so much time on the left side of our brain because we're trying to think our way out of things when sometimes we need to create our way into something. So I think if you would spend some time and be creative. Now, what do I mean? I don't know. Draw a picture. Do some arts and crafts. Make music. Dance. Start a business. Right? Write some ideas down. Take a pottery class. Sew. Go to a play. Make a play. Do some skits with friends. Create content. Do something that's creative. Write poems. Write stuff down. Read a book that's not personal development. Read some fantasy. Read some sci-fi. Read a romance novel. Like, get in the creative space where you're shutting off the analytical side of you and you're tapping into the creative version of you. Because like I said before, God is the creator. And if we're made in his image, that means we are also supposed to create. We are the most like him when we are in our creative genius. And spending more time in creativity is going to allow you to step into what you do well creatively. And when we're spending more time in that space, we're not going to spend a lot of time thinking about what's not going right because we're only going to focus on what we do well. So spending more time creating things, right? Even if it's just like writing how your day was, drawing pictures. They don't have to be Basquiat's or Picasso's, but you're having fun with it. Get a coloring book and start coloring in the lines. Go to a restaurant and say, hey, can I get one of those color things? Like, oh, who's it for? It's for me, big dog. You know what I'm saying? And make sure you got a couple blues, but you're allowing yourself to be free because really what creativity is the freedom. It's freedom. You don't feel constricted. You don't feel limited. You don't feel like the past is an issue or the future is a problem. Like creating, it forces you to be present. And the more that we're spending time doing things creatively is going to enhance the probability that we stay present, which is going to eliminate us being in the future and worried about stuff that may or may not happen or stuck in the past and being depressed. So in this Mental Health Awareness Month, I know that there are layers to this. I'm not saying that this is going to cure everything, but I do believe from my personal experience, these things can help. And in my case, reverse. I was on medication in 2013 for depression. I haven't taken a pill in 11 years. Do I still have negative thoughts? Yeah. Do I still have bad days? Yeah. Do I still have moments where like, man, I feel like life is happening to me instead of for me? Of course, I'm a human being, but I now have tools to use to offset when that happens. And also I'll close with this. The biggest thing that I can give you is this. Never let your circumstances or what you're going through to put a label on you. I don't care what you're going through in your life. You are not your circumstances. You're not that. And when you change the label that you're wearing, it's also going to change the actions that you take. And I truly do believe going out for a 15-minute walk a day, even in the rain, right? I do believe exerting yourself physically at the capacity of where you're at, where you are physically, pushing yourself a little bit beyond that point is going to help your mental health. And I also believe spending some time every day or a few times a week in a creative space where you're blocking out the analytics and it's only about creating is going to help your mental health as well. I really hope this episode blessed you and served you. If anybody came to mind, please share this. Remember, it means the world to us. If you were to subscribe to the podcast, so whenever you're notified of a new episode being dropped, before everybody. And also if you can rate it and review it whenever you have time. And we're going to read reviews on the podcast now. So maybe your review will be next up. But yeah, this is the Third Quarter Podcast. This is where we learn, we grow, and we apply to change the game of our life. That's what this is about. The first half was this. Okay, yeah, I was down 20, but now the game's changing. Now we're about to go up 30. And I really do believe implementing these 3 steps for your mental health is going to help change the score of your game. I love you so much. Be safe, be blessed, and thank you for listening to the Third Quarter Podcast.